Good evening, fight fans. You are listening to a Radulich Broadcasting alternative commentary for Jose Ramirez versus Jose Pedraza on ESPN, brought to you by Top Rank Boxing. I'm your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. And joining me tonight, as he has been for many a boxing event now, is Dan Friday Night Fights Lasby.
And before I say anything else, I will let you know that my fingernails are not nearly as pretty as the sniper's this evening, and I apologize in advance.
Terrific. All right. So our main event here, which we have been waiting all night for, which can I talk to you, Dan? Can I just talk to you for a minute?
Hit me up.
I'm going to come out of like guest on host voice and just talk to you man to man, butt to butt. Here we go. Can we not say that the ring walks are 10 o'clock and then not start this shit till 12:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time? Like, don't lie to me, Box.live. Or
just leave it where it is.
Just be honest. Like, I think the main card broadcast, which was 3 fights, a 10, a 6, and then this 12 round, started at what, 10:30?
Oh, easy, yeah.
Yeah, and when everything was like, oh, it starts at 10. And so like but I thought the main event started at 10. That's why when I contacted you, I'm like, oh, we should be ready to go by 10. And here we are, it's 12:30 a.m.
Well, that's even what DAZN said up until about 20 minutes ago, where then they finally started updating. And there were some that went the distance, but there were also some that were over in a round and a half.
Yeah, I just look, I don't care. Look, if it's not gonna happen until like 12:30 in the morning the following day, that's fine, but don't lie to me. Just be upfront about it. Can we all just communicate with each other? All right, I'll move on now. So Jose Ramirez coming in with a record of 26-1, having lost the WBC and WBO light welterweight titles to Josh Taylor, who
arguably badly,
who just narrowly on paper retained his belts last weekend in what was a travesty of scoring, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
He is taking on Jose Pedraza, who has a record of 29-3, and his last couple of fights were wins against unanimous decisions against Mikel Lapierre, Javier Molina, and then retired on the stool in the 8th round against Julian Rodriguez. Dan Lasby.
He looked great in his last match. He looked fantastic.
Comeback fight for Jose Ramirez. He's the A side of this card. Tell me about it. What do you think is going to happen here?
Listen, I was saying to you just before we went on the air, but I think Ramirez is a great fighter. I think that of the two in this match, he's the one that has the power to put it away if he can put it together. I'm worried it's too soon. I don't know that I think that he's mentally engaged to actually win this fight, especially not against a fighter who can be really challenging like Pedraza.
Oh, let's go back a second, because you brought this up to me before, and I want you to extrapolate a little more about that. You say that mentally he's checked out, not really in the game. He's a little sketch. What has led you to believe this? What are you seeing that says to you he's not mentally where he needs to be for this fight?
So, in my opinion, historically, when fighters lose a big fight like that, especially if they lose the belt, I think they all go home. I think they all look their woods, and I think they all go back and look at it. But in every interview that he's talked about, including the one in preparation just earlier tonight, he's talked about how depressed he was afterwards. He's talked about how hard it was for him to get motivated to get back in the ring. He talked about how he doesn't want to disappoint his kids. No part of that is he talked about, I went back, I watched the tape, I made some mistakes. Here's the things that I know that I got to change. I'm a good fighter. I'm ready to go. Pedraza doesn't know what he's up against, and I've got the stopping power that is it. No part of him has that arguably necessary championship boxer confidence. And maybe he's just being humble. Maybe he'll come back and he'll win big, but I'm concerned about it.
It is a conversation that you and I had with regards to the Keith Thurman fight, if I remember correctly, where, it was he seems like he's ready. He seems committed. He seems motivated. to get back on the horse, but we'll have to see. And then we saw what we saw, and it was fine. But that is a valid point to make, that when you're coming off a big loss, what are you doing to maintain your mental health and your readiness, your mental readiness to get back in there and fight and fix mistakes you've made, etc., or just have the confidence to do the things that you train to do day in, day out in the gym.
I mean, listen, kudos to him. He didn't pick a soft target to come back on. Also, I would say historically, you lose the belt, you either change weight classes, with which Pedraza has done a ton of times, or you pick a soft target, you go in and you lay a whooping on that guy so you can feel good about the fact that you know what you do.
All right. Going over the card for the evening, and as if you've ever listened to one of our alternative commentaries before, with boxing, we just do the main event. Assuming it doesn't end in the first round, we usually get about an hour's worth of content out of it. So that's why I like it. But we have Antonio Mireles, who had a TKO in the second round over Brandon Hughes. Charlie Shihai had a first-round TKO over Johnny Bernal. These were all in the early prelims, I think, starting around 7:30. Javier Martinez had a unanimous decision over Dante Stubbs.
Oh, God, that match was painful.
It looks it. Carlos Balderas had a second-round TKO over Aiello Mesquita. Hector Tanahara looks like he went the distance for 8 rounds. And Gabriel Flores had a majority decision over Abraham Montoya.
Yeah.
And then Joet Gonzalez, who I've seen fight before, he's usually pretty good. He had a 9-round TKO over Heyo Santizima. Yeah. And then finally, and this one I was paying close attention to because it was heavyweights, and we all know how much I fetishize the heavyweights. Richard Torres Jr. had a second-round TKO over Alan Melson. Big, meaty men slapping meat, going all Roadhouse.
Drunken bar fight.
It really was.
Torres looked fantastic, though.
Yeah,
for his opening pro match, he looked great.
Torres looked like he was fighting, a working bear.
Melson looked like he was a bowl of Jello that lost its frame. It was just everywhere.
What a mess that was.
Yeah.
All right, we are set to go here. Jose Pedraza versus Jose Ramirez. We have Ramirez in the red and white trunks and Pedraza in the green as we start this 12-round. I think this is an eliminator, isn't it?
Yeah, this is because the title's vacant, right? So this is your chance to get in the go. I mean, listen, arguably, if whichever one of these guys loses, they're not long for this world as far as a serious contention option.
So this was actually supposed to happen in February, but the bout was postponed for a month because Pedraza had the flu, it looks like, from what I'm reading.
He had COVID.
Oh, did? Okay. Gotcha.
He had the capital C, which is what a big amount of the talk was around the odds around whether or not he could get back into going 12-round shape.
That's a fast turnaround to get COVID. I mean, just like the effects on your lungs are pretty long lasting. All right, so people are going to start getting irritated that we're not actually calling the fight. So,
sorry.
Pedraza looks like he's flicking that left out there. He's using his jab. Ramirez is trying to stay in his face, though. He's a lot of movement from him so far. Yeah, he just closed in through a combination, didn't really hit much.
Interesting to see if he switches to that southpaw. He likes to switch back and forth.
Both men light on their feet. A lot of bounce on their steps so far.
Yep. I mean, it's big pace. It's a good pace.
Yeah, Pedraza is using a lot of motion. He was throwing a lot of combinations, but I'll tell you, Ramirez doing a really good job of trying to box him in. You notice that Pedraza's not having a tremendous amount of success circling away from Ramirez. Ramirez sort of keeping him not on top of the ropes, but definitely alongside.
Which is interesting. Pedraza, I would say, is a better technical boxer. He likes to throw those combos more. But yeah, Ramirez doing a great job staying on top of him, keeping him pinned in that corner, throwing sequences.
Yep. Yeah, Ramirez just Ramirez just threw a combination there that had some mustard on it. Not a lot. Pedraza was able to fend off most of it, but I'm starting to think, to your point earlier about is he mentally ready for this, that he might want to finish this in a hurry.
Come out like an explosion.
Yeah.
Like Pedraza doesn't have the power to finish this from a knockout. I think he's only got like 5 or 6 knockouts in his pro career. But Ramirez definitely does.
Good stiff jab there from Pedraza. All right, we have a lot. They're exchanging combinations here. What I like about this, I mean, not a lot of contact, but a lot of defense. Oh, just as I say that, yeah, with authority there, Ramirez ends the rounds with a good 1-2 punch to the face of Jose Pedraza.
That was heavy.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and give that first round to Jose Ramirez. What say you?
Agreed. I mean, they both look good. I think Ramirez controlled the pace and he controlled the fight that he wanted.
Well, we are into the second round here, and I see that there are people. This is where I get to do my romper room thing. Yeah. I see you on my History of Boxing Facebook page, on the W2M Facebook page, and on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network Facebook page. And someone is hanging out with us on Twitch, to which I say welcome. If you guys have any, we'll do our best to keep you informed. If you're not watching the fight, you just want to hear us tell you what's happening, we will try to stay on top of that for you. If you guys have any comments, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. And in between rounds, I will go ahead and answer them for you. But if you just want to hang out and listen, we appreciate you being here. Thanks for doing this. I know there are a zillion of these going on tonight, but you're hanging out with us. So, gracias. All right, round 2.
On the internet.
I am propped up by you, sir.
God.
Yeah, we need to talk about like what's going on with Jake Paul these days, but that's a whole other podcast. All right, so round 2, and we see some more pep in the step from both of these gentlemen. A lot of bouncing around the ring. I can't imagine that's going to last the majority of the fight.
Really fast.
Yeah, we've called a bunch of fights since third quarter of last year. And, both of us talked about how a lot of these guys are a little on the flat-footed side. This is the most bounce I've seen in any fight we've called.
And interesting because Ramirez was really flat in his last match. So, this is a lot more movement and a lot more footwork.
Yeah. So, Ramirez still keeping up the aggression here. He is loading up. Did you see that? He is loading up those lefts and rights. Like, he's planting when he throws.
He's definitely trying to keep it to be his kind of fight. Big and heavy. Hard contact, work the body.
But to his credit, he's able to. He's not lumbering. He's transitioning very, very well, being fleet of foot. And then when he goes for the attack, he plants, and he's laying in some hard punches. Now, to the credit of Pedraza, his defense has been on point. He's been able to avoid a fair amount of it. But Ramirez, I think, is throwing more than Pedraza, and so he's obviously landing more.
Pedraza's held 2 belts, right? But not at this weight class, I think.
Pedraza had the WBO lightweight title and the IBF super featherweight title. And the IBO super featherweight title for what that's worth.
Pedraza definitely on the defense here. Oh, God.
All right, we are continuing here in round 2, and Ramirez has Pedraza backed into the corner, but he's having trouble finding a target, and Pedraza is able to circle out.
He's doing some he's doing great job staying active. And taking more glancing blows than solid shots.
Did you see that stutter step in, stutter step out on Pedraza? Very nice.
Very nice.
Double jab there from Pedraza. Not a lot of mustard on any shots, though.
No, he definitely doesn't have that power. He's a combo guy. He's gonna work you into the ground. He's not gonna knock you out historically. But he's broken through a couple though.
But I also like the movement on Ramirez. I mean, both of these guys are just having trouble hitting each other. That's the bottom line.
Sure.
This is one of those all defense fights.
And like you said, 12 rounds of this, big pace, lots of combos. My God. Having a heart attack thinking about it.
If you're just joining us here on social media, we welcome you. Again, feel free to leave us comments, make comments, questions, whatever you like. Tomorrow night, Dan Lasby and I will be back, but we'll be switching over to the UFC. We're going to talk Colby Covington versus Masvidal in the UFC main event, and we'll be doing the entire main card starting at 10 o'clock. No fooling this time. And then Wednesday, myself and Dan's buddy, Chris Bailey, at 10 a.m., we'll be reviewing AEW Revolution, which takes place this Sunday night. So that's what's coming up here. As far as some more boxing is concerned, we're going to take a week off. And then when I come back from vacation, Dan and I will be doing the next ESPN card that I'm sure won't start on time. It'll be Edgar Berlanga versus Steve Rolls. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
That's almost the beginning of the nonstop run.
Yeah. The spring of our big run here of pay-per-views and ESPN fights. Someone send Dan money, by the way. Send it to his wife so that he can get DAZN.
Yeah, there you go. Send money to my wife, and please tell her specifically what it's for, so it doesn't just seem like someone's trying to buy her off, even if it is.
So if you want to hear us call some DAZN fights, you gotta send Dan's wife money.
And if you put it in an envelope that says alimony, please don't.
There we go. Where are we? Round 3?
God, round 3, they're still going so fast.
Yeah.
Pedraza looking like he's trying to get in a little bit more.
A lot of this is what we've seen so far. Just steady work from both guys. I think Ramirez is winning the fight. I know everyone likes to ask me, well, who's winning? I've got it 2-0 so far, Ramirez.
I give it 2 to Ramirez. And the over-under calls for him to win this match. And listen, everything that I said about whether or not his brain was in the game, at this stage in the game, round 3 underway, he's in it.
For sure. You mentioned before Pedraza is a combinations guy, and I'm liking his combinations. He's throwing a lot of them, but they're into the glove. They're missing entirely. I don't feel like he follows through on them. It looks like, it looks very mechanical.
Not how he looked against Rodriguez back in the summer. Much more precise in that. But listen, he just doesn't have the power for this weight class. And in a weight class that is as deep as it is. Yeah.
Ramirez backs him up into the corner then. He's working him over against the ropes. Not a lot of punches finding the target. Pedraza able to evade most of that. But Ramirez is trying to press him in the corner.
Every time I'm about to say at least they're slowing down a little bit, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, Ramirez is still very fresh in there.
And great body movement by Pedraza.
And I can see, since the first round, here we are in round 3, and it's little by little. I mean, he isn't going roadhouse or anything, but little by little, he turns up that aggression.
Yep.
He's not backing off. He has been all forward momentum this entire fight.
Yep, he's chasing it. And
if Pedraza were not able to evade so well, this might have already ended.
Well, the side story on Pedraza is he's been able to really hold some champions and some bigger guys to longer bouts than he probably has any business doing.
All right, that's the end of round 3 and another steady work there for Ramirez.
No real clinches either. I like that. Like a couple of quick tie-ups, but they've broken out real fast.
No, nobody went for a headlock or a single leg takedown on that one, which is good. Unlike the last fight with the heavyweights, which, Robert Winfrey of 401mania.com, the MMA Zone, and Wrestling often says heavyweights suck. And here's why he says that. Not for the usual reasons he thinks things suck, but in particular heavyweights, just because they gas out so quickly and they tend to do things like go for a standing headlock and whatnot. And he's not, especially in that last fight. Boy, he wasn't wrong.
I've seen a lot of I watched the whole undercard tonight, though. There were matches where it was good and quick and clean, and those were the ones that were over in 1 and 2 rounds with some good work. And there were some that were just a mess. As far as the Tanahara match actually was. I didn't understand Tanahara's strategy because he's actually an outside boxer and he does a really good job from the outside. And the times that he was outside, it looked good. But Contreras was just like, okay, well, I'm a brawler and I want to be on the inside. And they were inside of each other. Like, you talk about being in a phone booth. They were inside of the phone booth the whole time.
Like the Matrix.
Just
right
in the sucked phone, right in.
All right. Round 4. And Ramirez
still coming out hot.
Yeah, he's starting off the same way he started the previous 3 rounds. You can see, here's the one thing, and I'm wondering if Pedraza's corner or if Pedraza himself is picking up on it. Ramirez telegraphs every time he's going to come in.
Right.
Like, he is not like some of these other fighters where he is got dynamic range and he's able to fire off shots from where his position is on the outside. Like, you can see him tense up and start. Like, it's the kind of thing football players talk about.
Yep.
You know, like, you can kind of see by their their hand movement and whatnot, if they're coming in, that sort of thing. You can totally see, you can totally see where when Ramirez is coming.
Do you think Ramirez can keep up this pace, honestly?
I guess we're gonna find out. It's hard to say.
He's throwing some haymakers that aren't connecting. That's got to wear on you.
I missed the punch stat score from earlier, but it was like 15 landed out of however many he threw.
Jeez.
And that's the thing, you talked about the pace. It's not like Pedraza's really pushing him back.
Nope.
Pedraza is intelligently defending himself and occasionally fires off a shot, and that's about it.
Yeah, and he's hanging around.
Right. So Ramirez has had any opportunity he needs to go after Pedraza, but Pedraza's might be a little too quick for him, at least at this stage of the game.
Pedraza's got the better footwork for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I wonder about the pace. If Ramirez can keep up this pace, listen, he owns this match. But if Pedraza just waits him out another couple of rounds and he starts to get gassed, different match. And even this round, Pedraza's had some good connections.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
see, Pedraza went to the body there, but it was kind of he just put it looks like he put his glove in the abdomen. He didn't really throw a punch. Yeah. Like Pedraza, it almost like at times feels like Pedraza is just sparring. And look at Ramirez smells blood. Look at him go.
Yeah, he wants to eat him.
Oh, big right hand from Ramirez. Another one. He has got Pedraza in trouble. Pedraza doesn't like it. That may have been a clashing of heads.
Oh, come on. He's waiting on the bell at this point.
Pedraza knows. Pedraza knows he was in trouble there, and you saw him like bang his gloves together to keep himself hyped up. He was like, no. Ramirez got him good in that round.
Yeah. Ramirez, round 4, Ramirez.
All right. To those of you who just joined us on our various Facebook pages, welcome aboard. If you want to get in touch with us, leave a comment or a question in the comments area, and we will be happy to interact with you. For those of you who come in and just quietly enjoy what we do here, I mentioned we're doing the Edgar Berlanga fight, Steve Rolls, on the 19th, and then they just announced Miguel Burkelt versus Jeremiah Nakatea. That's going to be the 26th. We're going to cover that one, and then we're going to take a break because the following week is WrestleMania, and I got to switch gears and take care of all that stuff. And then we're going to skip the 9th because the only good fight right now that's booked is Triple G versus Murata, and that's in Japan. So somebody else is going to have to take that one because I'm not getting up in the middle of the night to deal with it. But then we got Ugas Spence, Tyson Fury, Dillian White, and then Shakur Stevenson at the end of April. So got a lot of really good fights coming up. If you're enjoying myself and Dan Lasby, we're going to be very busy over the next 2 months.
You saying 4-0 Ramirez right now?
Yeah, 4-0 Ramirez for sure.
Yeah, round 4 was the closest, but I think Ramirez that last flurry over the last 20 or 30 seconds, I think gives it to him.
Andre Ward gave the second round to Pedraza, but he's got it 39-37 Ramirez.
Okay, it's reasonable.
Yeah, I don't know about that second round, but it's not really worth arguing about.
It's okay. I mean, I think Pedraza's still in the match.
Sure.
Although Ramirez wants it bad. Holy cow. He just wants the full clock.
Yeah. Okay, look at what Ramirez is doing right now. He is trying to push Pedraza back and unload on him.
Yeah.
Like, he's not bouncing like he was. He is starting to. He's looking for an angle and then trying to plant so he can hit him with power. He thinks he's got this. He's got this guy's number, and he don't sweat Pedraza's power, so he doesn't have to move around as much. I think we're going to see a very different Ramirez now.
Even if Pedraza drags this out,
mm-hmm.
How's he going to finish it? I mean, his footwork's beautiful. His combos are very nice. He's taken a couple of big shots and shook them off. But Ramirez looks like he thinks if he can get 2 or 3 more good shots on him, this is done.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I disagree with that.
Look at Ramirez again. You see, he's got the little stutter step in there.
Yeah.
He's pushing him back, looking to unload on this guy and cut off that ring. I like the footwork on Ramirez. I like his ring positioning.
It's just simple. It's just the sidestep, steer him where you want him to go.
He has been in Pedraza's face this entire fight so far.
Agreed.
And he has not needed to worry about his power at all. Again, it almost, except for when Ramirez starts to pick up the pace a little bit, it just feels like a friendly sparring session.
I mean, Pedraza feels like he's already assigned to the relics of gatekeeping at this point.
Yeah, credit to Pedraza, though. Still, his best asset right now is his defense. He's
doing a great job on that.
Prolonging the inevitable, but... Yeah, he's prolonging the inevitable, but all right, another round in the books.
Yeah, Ramirez does not care at all for any shot Pedraza took at him in that round.
No.
Ooh-wee.
So while we have a break in the round here, we were supposed to get Jake Paul versus, I believe it was Tommy Fury. Late last year, of course.
Yeah.
That ended up being Tyrone Woodley for a second time around because Fury injured himself. And then when it was all said and done, Jake Paul's like, nah, I'm done with this. This is the second time or third time he's bailed on a fight. Like, you need to fight me for clout. I don't need to fight you. I have a deal with Showtime for insane money to do pay-per-views.
All of the money.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, and this isn't like a preference for the Paul brothers. I could care less, but he does have a point. The star is Jake Paul. Like,
he's the draw for sure.
Yeah, people need to want to fight him and make it happen, not the other way around. And Jake Paul doesn't have to fight anymore if he doesn't want to, or just finish up he is a Showtime contract and be done with it. All right, round 5. We have 57 out of 218 thrown for Ramirez, 53 out of 216 thrown. For 20%.
Yeah. It's an ungodly number of punches.
Deceptively large. Like, I didn't think it was that many. All right. Ramirez continuing to do solid work here.
Yeah, Ramirez gotta finish this up. Pedraza's got to come in with whatever he's got.
Yeah, Pedraza, having felt some of Ramirez's power, don't want none.
No, for sure.
But we're gonna get to the middle and later round, and he's not gonna have an opportunity to win this fight on the scorecard. It's like, you got to make stuff happen now.
Well, and we're 6 rounds in at this point. Like, even exhaustion, he did a fantastic job of either taking glancing blows for the most part or getting out of the way. You can't do that forever.
Yeah, for sure.
Ramirez still totally setting the pace.
Yep. He had Pedraza in the corner there. I was actually kind of surprised he stepped back and let him out and just didn't unload on him. That said, I think actually Ramirez has somewhat slowed down this round.
For sure. He's got a bad tendency when he gets tired to have a really wide stance too, and he's done that a couple of times. He stepped in and left his back foot behind.
I am definitely not seeing a lot of bounce in his step at this point.
No, he looks like he's starting to get a bit tired, which maybe plays to Pedraza's favor, but only if Pedraza can capitalize.
Mm-hmm. All right. We continue to see what's going on with Jose Ramirez. Yeah, it's tough because Ramirez, I think, has really slowed down now.
He looks like he's looking tired.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't gone for some more body shots to see if he can't also slow down Pedraza.
They might both be slowing down now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like Pedraza still looks a little bit fresher.
Mm-hmm.
But Ramirez still throwing big punches. He definitely does roll that shoulder, though, just before he throws that left jab, doesn't he?
So, Ramirez, not a great round there. I think I'm going to go ahead and say I think he won it because I don't think
Pedraza didn't do enough otherwise.
Right. So it's like he kind of wins by default, but if you can go 10-10 in boxing, if it's more of a thing that happens, I would almost say that's what it felt like to me. It felt like a pretty even round. And then if you looked, he was very excited there and he like shook his fist and everything. And my thought was like, okay, but you need to keep up the pace. Yeah. You're slowing down on the gas pedal, pal.
I mean, that's the closest round, in my opinion, where I would have said, like, Pedraza had a couple of flurries, but Ramirez didn't do so much that he outpaced him either. That's the closest round of any that I've seen that I would give one to Pedraza.
Yeah. Like I said, I had it 10-10, but if we're not doing draws or draws are not very likely from one round to the next, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that you can almost give that one to Pedraza. Round 7. Okay, if you're just tuning in, you're like, well, who's winning? Well, Ramirez is definitely winning, but
yep, definitely.
He slowed down here as we start getting into the back half of this fight. Round 7. Andre's scorecard has a 58-56. Ramirez, and he agrees with you. He gave rounds 2 and 6 to Pedraza.
So he's saying 4-2 for Ramirez.
Yes. And again, I can't really complain about that.
No, I think that's reasonably fair. I think Ramirez got to put this away in the next 2 rounds.
He got inside finally. He nailed him with an uppercut, started to work the body, but to Pedraza's credit, he shook it off and came forward.
Oh my God.
But those were clean punches, and we haven't seen a lot of those in this fight.
I mean, if you paid to see this match, you're getting your money's worth from a toe-to-toe standpoint.
Yeah. We'll see if Ramirez now, having landed cleanly, will start to push this a little bit more.
I feel like that's what he's got to do. He's got to put this away. He's got the power. He's running out of gas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is Pedraza also slowing down? Definitely. His footwork isn't the same as it was before. He's taken more shots than he's ducking out of the way of, but he's still here.
Thought he was going down. I thought Pedraza was going down there for a second. Looks like from the camera angle, it looked like a pretty big hit. And I thought he was going down, but no, he bounced off the rope and circled away.
Yeah, he dodged out of the way there.
All right. Ramirez sort of stepped him back into the corner. And then he just threw the one hook, but Pedraza got out of there in a hurry. All right, he's backed him up into the other corner now. All right, Ramirez, you gotta. He's waiting a little too long.
Pedraza's trying to stretch him out a bit.
He's waiting too long. Like he backs him into the corner.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't follow up until it's too late, and Pedraza's moved out. I think when he gets him into the corner like that, he really married. So one of our friends here from Facebook just asked who's winning. Currently, Ramirez. At the very least, 4 rounds to 2.
I'm a little worried that Ramirez isn't getting baited here now.
Mm-hmm.
The big shots that Pedraza's letting come through, he's letting come through at a bit of distance. And Ramirez isn't capitalizing on those pins in the corners.
That is the end of round 7. Probably a pretty clear round for Ramirez. Pedraza took some unanswered shots there, except, he would continue to move around the ring and he didn't get knocked down. So good on him for that.
Yeah, he was a bit of a cat in the bag, though.
Yeah, fish in a barrel. I don't know, no cats in bags.
You get your paws up.
Oh, okay. Hey, if you're just tuning in, you're wanting to know who's winning, it is Ramirez. We're going to go ahead and say he's winning 5 rounds to 2. It's been a pretty steady fight. Pedraza has no power for Ramirez at this juncture. Ramirez is able to pretty much come at him at will. The problem with Ramirez is he's not hitting cleanly because the one thing Pedraza is doing correctly is evading punches. It's been an interesting fight so far, but it's a little hard for Dan and I to call because it's been a lot of the same thing. Pedraza's not changing up his game plan at all. He's just kind of continuing to do the same thing. And Ramirez is stuck in whatever gear he's in. Not quite in first gear, but he's definitely not in last gear either.
Yeah, no, for sure. In the replay there, it was shown Pedraza did get a couple of nice inside straight shots on that. So be interesting to see if he can open Ramirez up a little bit more. And from Ramirez's standpoint, he did not come out of the beginning of that round with the explosion that he had the previous ones.
Ramirez hit him in the body with the left there. Right. The right hook to the body. And I thought Pedraza was going to drop, but he took it and he just sort of rolled against the ropes. And now we have a clinch, and Ramirez just punches his way out of it for Ramirez. So Ramirez just taking the measure of Pedraza.
And clocking some good points per round. Like, the rounds are close as far as like where the actual connections are happening, but Ramirez is taking advantages of those close sections, even if he's not taking advantage of his power moments.
You look at Ramirez, he's just sort of shakes to one side, shakes to the other, and then comes straight ahead.
Yeah, I just don't think like Pedraza's lack of power is such a handicap.
Yeah. Because this fight could have easily gone the other way had he had the power had some mustard on those combinations he was throwing earlier.
Well, even some of these jabs that he's thrown in this round, Ramirez isn't even taking a step back. He's just sucking them all up.
All right, we are in round 8 now. If you're joining us on social media, our various Facebook pages, Twitter. Well, not Twitter because I can't see that here, but YouTube, I should say. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. I'd actually be curious to see how many people bothered to do a live stream of this tonight because some of these top rank cards nobody gives a hoot about.
Yeah,
not me.
It was a big prospect night, though. Lots of guys that like solidified or gave up their spots.
It's the one guy who tamed a dancing bear.
There you go. Poor old Nelson. Bye.
All right. At this point, I don't feel bad for Pedraza, who continually circles into the corner.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that his ring awareness is great. His awareness of where Ramirez is very good. He hasn't put himself in some great spots more than once.
All right. That's a knee to the abdomen from Pedraza.
That's desperation volleyball right there.
Saying my new band, Desperation Volleyball.
There you
go. While we have a break here, let me go ahead and tell you folks who are currently tuning in to our live stream first, thank you. We had a very busy week. This whole week, Dan Lasby, was we were gearing up for the Batman, which as we're doing this, finally hit theaters today. There were early previews yesterday. It's making all the money. It seems like it's connecting with people, though I have heard some people complain. I loved it. We'll do a full review this Tuesday. I will talk about whether or not I think it's better than The Dark Knight, because there's a conversation to be had here, and we're not going to do that in the middle of a boxing podcast. Tune in Tuesday to Damn You Hollywood, and you'll get to hear my comparison of The Batman to The Dark Knight. But this was the Batman movie that I have been waiting for my entire life. This is
more
the kind
so than
of
Michael Keaton.
The Michael Keaton movie is great, and it was great when I was a kid, but it is a dopey movie, and then the subsequent sequels are even worse.
Oh, the sequels are bad. My wife knows exactly two things about Batman: that Zoe Kravitz is hot.
She's not wrong. I would not kick Zoe Kravitz out of the bed for eating crackers.
Fair enough.
All right, we are in round 9. Oh, big left hand there from Ramirez.
That's good. That's what he's got to do. He's got to put this away now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he's pretty solid in winning in points at this point, as long as he doesn't give these next 3 rounds away. But
when we talk about people coming back after a title loss or a long layoff, they need a statement win.
Yeah,
it's one of the things they've said about Errol Spence. I don't want to get into the whole racial aspect of that, but as great as Errol Spence, Bud Crawford is. The top Bob Arum's opinion of him was like, you don't sell tickets. And, you can't, when you have TV time is a precious commodity. If you get in a fight like this and you're not really exciting people, they're not going to want to come back and watch your fight. You're not going to get good fights. That's capitalism in the system of boxing that we currently have.
I mean, this is a very competitive match, but I don't know that I think that either one of these guys could leave this a challenge Zepeda and win.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
So this is good, and it'll help one of the two of these at least get some confidence back. But as far as like being a statement that they should be a solid thought in the championship title plan, I don't know about that.
Pedraza needs to consult his corner and figure out what he's going to do for the rest of the fight, because what he's been doing isn't working, and it's been the same thing round after round after night.
And he's not winning on points for sure.
No, he's not. I mean, even if you take Andre Ward's scorecard into account, he's only given him 2 fights.
Yeah, he's still down 6-2. Ramirez actually looking pretty okay, although he has taken a couple more shots this round.
He snuck one into the body there against Pedraza. It was very nice. Then he slid back out again. He knows he has Pedraza in trouble, but he doesn't follow up.
He hasn't collected on either one of those. He's thrown 4 or 5 uppercuts that he's missed.
Mm-hmm. He seems to be that left or right to the body seemed to work okay for him, and then he doesn't follow it up with anything. And I'm like,
and you'd think just from Pedraza's pace, Ramirez would be like, okay, I'll spend a round and I'll just work the body, slow him right down.
If you're just joining us, Ramirez leads on all the scar cards as near as we can tell. Hopefully, we won't have a clucky decision.
He's got that one as well.
Hey, wait a minute! These are Canelo scorecards, which we believe were mailed in before the movie started filming. You gonna go see the Batman?
I probably will go see the Batman. I'm definitely a Marvel guy. And I think that the DC movies haven't done a huge amount to convince me otherwise, but Zoe Kravitz. And I kind of am curious to see Robert Pattinson and either judge him exceptionally harshly or give him a pass.
Having seen it, I thought he did a fine job. And him and Zoe Kravitz, just... So Robert Pattinson said on Twitter that if the Batman flops, he'd do porn. So I was sending my wife, and I'm in a group chat with my wife and some friends of ours.
Sure.
And the women in the group, and maybe even the one guy, was like, "Yeah, we all hope it flops. We all hope it flops now."
Yeah, tank it. You'll do fine.
It's not gonna flop.
No.
All right, 415 thrown versus 99 landed for 24%. So yeah, Ramirez is out pointing and out hitting Pedraza
It's
from
a moot point at
one
this
round
point.
to the next. Yeah. We're in round 10. He's, unless he gets knocked out, he's won this fight on points. We'll see what Pedraza does, but I love doing these and I will continue to do them. We got a whole bunch coming up, but when it comes down to it, fights like this are a little difficult because you have one fighter who is losing vociferously, but won't change anything, won't do anything differently, and won't take any chances. So you're just going to keep losing. And then you have the other guy, Ramirez, who he hits him once. So look at that.
Yeah, he doesn't follow up. And I'm surprised Pedraza, where he still has good footwork and he's still moving around a lot. Why isn't he circling? Why is he waiting?
That's a good point.
If your game plan is wear Ramirez out, then wear him out.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. This late in the fight, all this dancing is really unnecessary.
There's just no need of it. I mean,
go ahead.
Your comment of prolonging the inevitable is what it is. Pedraza's got great footwork and he's got lovely combos and he can get out of the way all night long. But he can't follow up with a solid punch that's going to put Ramirez on his heels. So what are you doing, man?
Not a lot of sense of urgency from Ramirez or Pedraza, which is a little frustrating. I mean, I know when I brought this up in the past with UFC, I've had the Scott Kachowskis of the world or say Mercati say, "Hey, look, it's not like we all go into podcasting in a situation where." Sorry, I lost my train of thought there, but basically, I can tell I'm getting tired. I'm losing words again.
Well, I mean, I think Ramirez knows he's won. At this point, I think he's just hanging around. And Pedraza
is coasting to victory. I think that was the phrase I was searching for.
Yeah, for sure. And Pedraza hasn't done anything to make him think that he can't. He doesn't even have his damn hands up, man.
Yeah, I have the sound down low, but even the commentators on the broadcast are like, you're not seeing a lot of offense out of Pedraza.
No. And if that's the case, then just call it. If you don't want to fight the next 2 rounds, then don't.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a conversation he used to have with his corner because he's intelligently defending himself, so there's no reason for the ref to stop it. Right. But if he's just going to sit in there and take a beating, and the possibility of getting hurt, then stop the fight.
Yeah, there's no need to take the damage if you feel that you've got no chance of concluding this. Let it go, man. And I mean, there's lots of fighters who would not give up if their nose was hanging off their face.
Right.
But that's not this fight.
That is not this fight. No, that was Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury.
Right.
Keep fighting, Deontay. Your head's cracked open. Your neck is broken.
3 vertebrae are bulging out of your spine.
Yeah. Maybe you need to see a doctor. No, I need to fight again. You need to go home is what you need.
Questionable choice.
Wonder if I had read somewhere that he was gonna do like Homer's strip out episode from The Simpsons. That Deontay Wilder was gonna take peyote or something and go wander into the desert to find himself, decide whether or not he should keep boxing. Because I think he said he was like, I've saved a lot of my money. I don't need to box again. It's whether or not I want to.
Right.
And I don't remember how Showtime handled it.
I'm sure Showtime was like, well, 3 matches in against Fury and you haven't won them, so fair enough.
We are in round 11. Ramirez still with a comfortable lead, as we've been talking about for the past 5 to 10 minutes now. Ramirez not putting a lot of effort into his punches.
If I'm Pedraza coming out of this match, and I think that I want to carry on with my boxing career because he's 30, late 30s. I mean, the obvious thing is you're a great boxer. You know how to box. You need to find out how to give your follow through a second gear because you can't finish it right now.
And you say he went down a weight class for this?
He went up a weight class.
He went up a weight class. Okay.
But that's my concern. You've gone up a weight class. You clearly didn't gain any punching power, but you're in a ring now with guys who definitely do.
Ramirez just happily stalking Pedraza right now.
Yeah.
And Pedraza gets on his bicycle. I mean, good for him.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Pedraza is a technically sound and very fluid boxer.
Yeah.
If he was in the ring again with Rodriguez, it looked like this. He ate Rodriguez because Rodriguez didn't have the stopping power that Ramirez does.
Right. We have a left hand from Pedraza there. Hopefully we'll get some action here.
Yeah. Even the 1-2s, Ramirez does not seem to give a hoot.
Now we're less than a minute into round 11. Or rather, we have less than a minute left. And I think Ramirez is going to be. I think he knows he's up on the scorecards. I think at this point he's just in I don't want to get knocked out mode.
Yeah, he's biding his time.
Yeah. And it's not like this guy's suddenly going to get punching power. So, he can just continue to go toe to toe and see what he hits. I'll be curious to see if Pedraza or Ramirez start to slow down.
Ramirez just looks like he's a rock'em sock'em robot at this point. Which, again, he's got this in the bag. And to your point, Pedraza has not changed. He's just standing in front of him.
All right. That is the end of round 11. Let me go ahead and take a moment to tell you about one of our sponsors, as I don't always remember to do this, but I said I was going to make sure I did it tonight.
Great job.
For you listeners of our alternative commentary, Grammarly is offering a free download of the Grammarly software. Grammarly's AI-powered products help you communicate more effectively. Grammarly helps write mistake-free on Gmail, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and nearly anywhere else you write on the web. Grammarly corrects hundreds of grammar, punctuation, and spelling mistakes while also catching contextual errors, improving your vocabulary, and suggesting style improvements. You download Grammarly today. Go to getgrammarly.com/W2M Network. Again, that's getgrammarly.com/W2M Network to download Grammarly for free.
And when I text you about a bag of cats, Mark, it'll be in the proper tense.
There you go. The Grammarly might suggest other words you could or phrases. Is that like a Canadian thing?
No, I'm sure it's just me also later than your time at night.
Grammarly's maybe say something less Canadian.
Sorry, you've left your location on, and I can see that you're in Canada. Please use some universally recognized terms.
Newfoundland. All right. This is it. The last round, the last opportunity for either Pedraza or Ramirez to get something done. We'll see if the sense of urgency motivates them to pick up the pace at all. So far, that's not what I'm seeing. All right. It's a lot of boy, they love that corner, huh?
They love the corner, and it's frustrating that Pedraza doesn't know that he gets there, and it's more frustrating that Ramirez doesn't capitalize when he gets there.
Yeah, I don't know what he thinks is going to happen. It's going to be so dramatically different. I don't know. Maybe he thinks Pedraza is going to one-time him and just knock him straight out.
He is the sniper, but he doesn't have that many knockout wins to his name, so...
Look at the face on Ramirez. What a sneer.
Yeah, he's just crooked as sin right now.
All right, see, now Ramirez is starting to open up a little bit. And he takes a break. He backs off. Pedraza tries to get something going. Ramirez punches him back into the ropes.
Based on what he's taken from Pedraza at this point, though, Ramirez could just wait and take a shot. He hasn't taken any damage.
We have a minute left of round 12. The final round.
From the illness point, though, I'll say this about Pedraza. He looks like he's still got gas.
Mm-hmm. All right, if you're tuning in, you're like, hey, who's winning? Ramirez by a country mile.
By a mile. Brutal. Just brutal.
Yeah. Pedraza goes head belly on that, tried to follow through with a punch ending the combination. Didn't happen for him. Look, credit in the world to Pedraza. I mean, he lasted all 12 rounds. Not everybody does.
I mean, again, technically sound boxer. Great footwork.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have gone the distance with a guy who is a much heavier puncher than he is.
Hey, look, just because you're the B side doesn't mean you're not going to win your fight. That's what happened last weekend. Robert and I did the Showtime fight, the Chris Colbert fight, and he ended up losing. And he was the A side. He was the big man on the poster. You know, all of this stuff. He was, a big time fighter, and he didn't make it. Yeah. I'll leave the rest of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre up to you from 2003.
Just the one.
All right, that's it. We're done. Oh, put your hands down. Pedraza's like, yay, I won. You know you didn't win.
Yeah, you didn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
stop that.
This is not Italian soccer, man.
Hey, Dan Lasby. Let me ask you a question. So I know that you're like working on musicals and that's your thing. Yeah. Have you been listening to any musicals lately?
Some.
Okay.
Anything in particular?
Well, I don't know if you know this or not, but if you're looking for some musicals to listen to, you can find them on Amazon Music Unlimited.
Oh, I like that.
And do you like Free, Daniel Lasby of the Screaming Boy podcast?
Listen, we just talked about alimony. I dies for free.
Well, it just so happens that we are giving away a free 30-day trial of the Amazon Music Unlimited service. We have a link in the description of this podcast. Get amazonmusic.com/W2M network for the free 30-day trial, and you can download all the musicals you like, including some new, some old, some blue. Oh, if you could use Get Amazon Music Unlimited right now by clicking the link at getamazonmusic.com/W2M network, what would you stream for free for your 30 days?
I would hit top 3. I would hit Rent, and I would hit Original Jesus Christ Superstar, and I would hit Hamilton.
Very good. Hamilton, my daughter gets down to. For a while, that was like all she would listen to.
It's incredible.
Yep. I like when the guy playing Thomas Jefferson shimmies across the stage.
Yeah. Come on, man. They know what they're at. I actually talked to the stage designer of that and the way that it rotates and turns on the Broadway production, and it is an engineering masterpiece. Unlike Pedraza's plan to win this fight.
Yeah. All right, CompuBox score 24% to 19% for Ramirez, 554 thrown to 586. Wow. Boy, does that not reflect the way we called this? Apparently, Pedraza threw a lot more than we thought he did.
It was fast.
I guess so. Landed in the body, landed 133 in the body, 42, and then now the graphic has gone away. So I don't know. All right, well, let's see what the scores are now.
I think it's got to be unanimous.
All right, we'll see what happens here. Though I'd be a monkey's uncle if Ramirez didn't win.
That would be mental. Where does Ramirez go after this, though?
All right. All right, that's official. Jose Ramirez wins by unanimous decision. So that's that, Dan Lasby. It's an okay fight. Fun way to spend an evening, no matter what. But, you know, just kind of an okay, workman-like.
They're good fighters. I mean, I don't think that you see the next champion there, but okay.
Yep, it was a purpose. You know, we say this with comic books and movies and TV. Everything is 1s and 10s, but it doesn't have to be. Sometimes something's just a 5.
Just a 5.
It's just a 5. It's a 45-degree day. If you ever watch The Wire. All right. So I been over just one more time for those of you who enjoy our boxing shows. We've got a UFC show tomorrow, Covington versus Masvidal. We'll be doing the entire main card for that starting at 10 o'clock. And we're going to skip a week, and then we're going to come back on the 19th. And we are going to be doing Edward Berlanga versus Stephen Rolls. And then on the 26th, we got Miguel Burkelt versus Jeremiah Nakatea. So tune in for those. That's what we got going on here in the month of March. As far as what we're going on this week, Sunday night, there's nothing, but we are re-airing myself and Sean Comer talking about the birth of the spaghetti western, the inspiration for the spaghetti western that was Clint Eastwood's The Dollars trilogy.
Hey,
so we'll be yeah, we did that one a while back, so we're going to re-air that one on the 6th. And then gearing up for Turning Red on Disney Plus, we're going to re-air our Finding Dory review. There's a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I've actually never seen any of them before. Now I'm starting to get caught up, but up until recently, I hadn't seen them. So myself and Sean Comer will be talking the original 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre and comparing it to 2003, and then 2022, which everyone tells me sucks. The aforementioned The Batman review will be Tuesday, March 8th. We've got a review for AEW Revolution on the 9th, and then in the evening time, myself, Jesse Starcher, and Robert Cooper will be reviewing Legion, Damn Them, Get 'em, Jit 'em. The Four Kings of Boxing podcast has had to be delayed and switched around and whatnot for any number of different reasons, some of which are very personal to Pat. So I believe if everything is still staying the way that it is, we'll be talking Hagler versus Hearns, Chapter 8 of the Four Kings of Boxing, Thursday, March 10th, after I watch 2 more episodes of Pam and Tommy with my wife. Because Lily James's fake boobs. And then
listen, Pam's a great Canadian. You'd be nice to her.
I love Pam Anderson. She maple syrup. And then
it's a hard pass.
And then a week from now, we've got our 2-part Hunger Games review from a few years ago. Myself and Sean Comer did a 2-part Long Road to Ruin on that. So part 1, the first 2 movies, is the 12th, and then both Mockingjays are on the 13th. And that's what we got coming up in the next week on the Radulich Broadcasting Network. You can also hear all of our Batman content that dropped all week long. Batman Hush, Batman White Knight, the Long Road to Ruin for the Tim Burton Batmans, Batman's Dark Knight trilogy, the Batman the Animated Series, and then what dropped today on the day of the Batman. We did Batman the Animated. Oh, the Animated Dark Knight is what we did the day before. And then today we did the Batman the Animated Series Volume 1. So those are all re-airs from years and years ago. Go ahead and check those out if you're interested in some of our Batman content. Hey, the sound isn't completely awful. So, you know, it's actually like moderately listenable. Yeah, some of our Blog Talk Radio stuff is trash.
So, I mean, you got more contact in a week than most places got in a year.
You ain't kidding, Buster. Somebody asked me this, like, oh my God, how do you find time for all these shows? And I'm like, oh, well, a lot of this is canned. They're like, not all of it, though. It's true. Dan Lasby, how can people find you? Is there anything you want to promote before we go?
Lasby on Twitter. I'm just kind of getting back into sharing my thoughts with the public. And next month or so, I'm releasing with my company All Night Laundromat 2 different podcast radio dramas. One called the All Night Laundromat, and the other one, the Chronicles of Detective Trench. They'll probably be terrible, but maybe they'll be so bad they're good.
Well, I will certainly check those out. That seems fantastic. And Dan will be with me, except for the WrestleMania stuff, will be with me all month long, all spring, going right into Canelo versus Dimitri Bivol, which just got announced. So it started a little slow this year. You know, a little trouble. I was having trouble getting Dan on to do some of these because there wasn't a lot to be had. But we're going to be busy for the next 2 months, so I'm very excited. All right, folks, if you tune into the live stream, once again, we appreciate you. If you only tuned in for a little bit but couldn't hear the whole thing and want to, it'll be up momentarily and available to you on W2M.com in both audio and visual form. So choose your weapon wisely. And with that, tune in for our next alternative commentary, UFC 272, Covington versus Masvidal. For Dan Lasby, I'm Mark Radulich. Be well, be safe, and behave.